If you really want to sell and you want to sell a lot, you need to be a problem solver, but more specifically, build incredible relationships with.
The internet has made it easier than ever to start a business. Succeeding on the internet, now that's another story. The big question is, what are those who are succeeding doing differently? This podcast has the answers. Hi, my name is Lisanne Murphy. I've spent the last 3 years running a successful advertising agency. I noticed with certain clients, I ran into the same problem over and over again. Their offering was just not grabbing the prospect's heart and wrestling them into purchasing submission. Why? Many of these business owners were so far down the road in their journey and so in love with their product, they forgot who they were serving, missing some essential steps along the way. So, I'm pivoting focus. Join me as I go behind the scenes with the most brilliant entrepreneur minds to demystify the nitty-gritty marketing hacks needed to be successful before spending thousands on advertising that ultimately separate the internet legends from the dreamers. On the previous episode, you heard from Cree Gentile. This branding expert blew our minds away with the simple tools that we can use to increase our personal brand and online presence. Click over to hear her take on branding. But stick around, I've got an awesome short episode here with you with Laura DiBenedetto. This entrepreneur worked herself out of her business so she could focus on, guess what? Happiness. As the happiness guru, she shares some of the powerful secrets to the happiness we are all seeking. She is funny and full of wisdom. Stay tuned to hear a bit of her story. Welcome to the Marketing Matrix. I'm your host, Lisanne Murphy. Today I am joined by the wonderful, beautiful, and incredibly talented and hilarious Laura DiBenedetto. Laura, thank you so much for coming on the show with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, guys, this entrepreneur, I need to take a second to introduce her because she is a powerhouse woman. So Laura is the author of The 6 Habits, which teaches how to create the life of our dreams without changing who we are. As founder and CEO of Vision Advertising, she has helped hundreds of companies build and grow profitable enterprises. Little awesome tidbit about Laura is that she lives on Maui with her husband, guys. So, I mean, we're talking about like goals here. We're following Laura. Laura's taking the lead. So Laura, again, thank you so much for coming and for sharing who you are and what you do with us.
Thanks for having me.
So for people that aren't as familiar with your journey, we would love to just get an overview. Like give us the elevator speech from floor 1 to floor 15. How did you become this influencer who's just obsessed with self-awareness and happiness?
Sure. So, I started a business at 19. And I worked for 19 years to essentially fire myself. I worked very hard and I built my company up to a wonderful size that I'm proud of. We have a wonderful book of clients. I retired at 37. I handed the reins to my new business partner and successor. And that's been really interesting, except when I retired, a lot of the things that I thought happiness was supposed to be, turns out not so much. So I wanted to solve that problem. And I just started researching and figuring out how I could feel better and how I could truly be happy like I thought I was supposed to be. So I just started looking into this stuff and one discovery led to another. And I just kept unraveling the threads and finding everything. And I changed my own life so massively. And I started changing others' lives so massively that now I'm a joy junkie and I'm like obsessed with helping other people to find the same kind of joy and life satisfaction that I have.
I love it. Well, and guys, she's even written a book about this. She talks about it in our long episode, which is coming out on Wednesday. So make sure to take a look at that. That is The 6 Habits. And she described it beautifully. It's actually a book where you are educated, but as a true educator, she helps you apply the principles into your life. So we're super excited for her to talk about that in just a second. But before we do, I've got one question for you today. The question is this: what small marketing strategy or tactic has made the biggest difference in your business and why?
I love that question. And so this is a marketing podcast and my answer is sales, which some people don't believe that they are connected. They are. Sales has been the most effective thing I have ever done in my own career. And being the leader of a marketing company for 19 years, I helped all my clients to understand this too and put this into practice. If you really want to sell and you want to sell a lot, you need to be a problem solver, right? Look for the problems, create solutions in response to a need that's already there. But more specifically, build incredible relationships, which is marketing and reputation marketing. People talk about you because they genuinely appreciate you, right? Marketing and sales, they're sisters, they're twins, they're hanging out together. But for me, like, the most effective thing I ever did was get on the phone and not be afraid to make cold calls and go to a networking event when honestly I didn't feel like it, and talk to people and have conversations and just throw myself into the community and just put myself out there in such a way that I was able to help people in a really impactful way.
I love that so much. So for someone who is more in the beginning of their journey and they need either the courage or the ideas or the know-how to have those conversations, do you have any specific suggestions for them on how to start a conversation that can lead to them solving a problem for the person they're talking to?
Sure. Curiosity is going to be your best friend. When people think of sales, they think of like pitching. Don't pitch. Pitching is annoying. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to do it. Just don't, okay? Just connect with people and listen and be curious and solve problems. And I'll give you an example. So let's say you are someone that I would like to pitch my services to, right? I don't know if you need me and, you have no idea who the heck I am, whatever. I'm going to start by doing the most radical thing ever. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to ask you about you. And I'm going to just try to learn about you. Be like, what's going on, and connect with you as a human. Because the thing is about sales, and I am a sales ninja. I love to talk about this. The thing about sales is it's human to human connection, and people buy from people. They don't buy from companies. And if you buy from a person that has listened to you, that genuinely cares about you, it feels good, right? So if you can just take the ick factor out of sales by not being that salesy loser that is just like trying to get something out of someone, but instead is going to a stranger to see if there is a problem that can be solved, or seeking to understand their world, asking really good questions and trying to get to the bottom of it, you're going to find a lot of great success. Here's a fun fact for you. Most people in sales will ask an average of about 2.8 questions in the inquiry process when they should be asking around 20.
That is shocking to me. That is
I know.
shocking to me.
Same. I mean, I'm a curious little bugger, so my average is probably more like 35, where they're like, really? But like, you can't really solve a problem unless you thoroughly understand it. And like, I've chatted with banks and, law firms and accounting firms and restaurant owners and professional service companies, hazardous waste disposal companies, like whatever, pick the company, we've served them. And over the years, the process is really the same. So what's the problem? Once you get the conversation going, and then they tell you, but they always tell you the first layer of the problem. Your job is to peel the layers and find the real problem, which is about 10 layers down. And the real problem could be the owner is not spending enough time with their children and they're really upset about it. But you're not going to know that unless you ask the right questions. Like, tell me more about that. How long has this been bothering you? What have you tried already? Have you given up on trying to solve the problem? Like, what does this really mean to you? How is this affecting your life personally? Like, if you can become professionally curious and not feel like you're being intrusive, if you're asking questions from a place of, I genuinely want to help you and understand this problem, people won't mind answering. They'll feel your sincerity. And then you get to have genuine relationships where you're actually helping people and doing good. And byproduct, you get paid.
I love that. So powerful. Thanks so much for like diving in there and even like giving an example, and for even throwing out some of the questions that are really thought-provoking for people that are important to understand for you to be able to solve that problem. So this week is a big week for you. You launched your book. I want to give you just a couple of minutes to talk about what that book is and how we can support you in that launch.
Great. Thank you. So The 6 Habits is a book about happiness. And a lot of people might be like, oh, a book about happiness, whatever. There's a lot of those. Okay, grown, fine. But The 6 Habits was born of research. And when I found myself in a place where happiness was eluding me, when I had done all the things and checked all the boxes, I wanted to know why and what to do about it. So I started doing the research to understand, well, what the heck is happiness and where does it come from? Happiness comes from within. Happiness is a baseline level of contentment that we have that's relatively unshakable, and it's something that we can easily bounce back to. It's a resiliency, it's all these things. So if we have an unshakable relationship with ourselves, the next logical question for me was, well, how do we do that? Turns out 6 habits are what make the incredible relationship with ourselves. So the book talks about what these 6 habits are: kindness, acceptance, gratitude, presence, goodness, and intention. Goes into great detail about those. But more specifically, the book gives you tons of actionable wisdom, because it's wonderful to know things, but it's the most valuable thing in the world when you can actually apply the knowledge. So I give you tools, strategies, workbooks, lots of actionable things. So if you read the book, you're given an express invitation to actually take powerful, inspired, massive action in your own life. So you can start to literally lead your dream life. If you read the book and do the exercises, you will be on the path to incredible joy and purpose in your life. Guaranteed.
I love it so much. All right. So how can people find the book?
If you go to Amazon, it's on there. You can also go to the6habits.com. The word 6 is spelled out, the6habits.com.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We are for sure going to support you in that launch, and we wish you the best of luck for that launch. This is a big week for you, so that's pretty darn exciting.
Thank you.
It really is. It really is. You also have been so generous in giving our listeners something for free that they can use to impact their understanding of their life's purpose and ultimately their happiness. Do you want to talk a little bit about that as well?
I would be happy to. So one of the biggest challenges that my clients have come to me with is the one burning question of, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life, right? Help. What am I supposed to do? So based on more research, digging, trial and error, figuring it out the hard way, I've done the hard work so you don't have to. I built this whole guide to help people to find happiness through purpose. Now, people confuse purpose and profession. They can be the same. They can be, but they often are not. And sometimes your purpose is really like, what is your life really supposed to be about at this point in time? Your purpose can also change, periodically. So this guide is a practical toolbox, if you will, with 24 specific strategies for you to unravel the mystery of who you are, what you really want, and what your purpose and this time on this planet is supposed to be for.
Oh, love it. We are so excited to take advantage of that. Again, that download is going to be in the Marketing Matrix Toolbox for you guys to access. So we're super excited. You can find that at toolbox.themarketingmatrixpodcast.com. And Laura, thank you so much again for sharing you and what is working in your life and what has made the biggest difference for you. And again, congratulations on your book launch. And we wish you all the best. Thanks for being on the Marketing Matrix.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
Thank you for tuning in to the Marketing Matrix podcast. On the next episode, we get the pleasure to hear from Laura again. This time in her deep dive episode, she goes into detail about her story and how she came to write this incredible book about the 6 habits to happiness she just released. The book is called The 6 Habits. The topic of happiness is one that needs to be focused on more in our entrepreneurial lives. So make sure to check it out. And while I've got you, I wanted to remind you about the Marketing Matrix Toolbox. Again, this resource has tons of free marketing tools to make your marketing journey easier. We add new content to it each week. Check it out and register for instant access at toolbox.themarketingmatrixpodcast.com. And if you want to join the conversations about marketing and specifically around Facebook ads, check out my free Facebook group. It's called Facebook Ads for Coaches, Course Creators, and Lifestyle Brands. It's an awesome community where people are trying to master the ad game to scale their business while saving time. I'm releasing content in there, questions, things to help you think about your marketing and make it fresh every single day. So you can join that group at www.facebook.com/groups/FB as in Facebook ad ninjas. That's FB ad ninjas. All right, guys, that's it for now. See you next time on The Marketing Matrix.